And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored, the second half hour of the show. A Texas woman's upcoming execution is slowly getting more recognition. Today, a rally in support of Melissa Lucio was organized in Dallas.
What do we want? Free Melissa Lucio! When do we want it?
Now, the effort to stop the mother's execution has some celebrity and bipartisan support. We told you about Lucio and her 2-year-old daughter's death back in 2007. She was convicted and sentenced to death for that. Some say she was coerced to confess to a crime that she did not commit and did not happen. Lucio's attorney joins me here on The Factor tonight.
We're getting down to the wire with your client, Melissa. What's her status right now behind bars?
Well, right now she is less than 3 weeks away from her scheduled execution date. And so, she is off work detail. Basically, the process is kicking in for her execution.
That's kind of mind-blowing when you say the process is kicking in for her execution. Is there any hope that the governor will take action in this case?
Well, we, are greatly appreciative of the support that Melissa Lucio is now getting from Texas lawmakers across both sides of the aisle. Yesterday, in fact, a delegation of lawmakers from the House went to visit Melissa Lucio and spent time with her. And we're just seeing this groundswell of support throughout Texas, and especially to see this bipartisan support and leadership from the Texas legislature is really unprecedented. And it does really reflect the serious problems with this case, and that people are seeing that, an innocent woman is on the verge of being executed.
Now, this case has caught the attention of reality star Kim Kardashian, who tweeted about it as well. Has that helped any in getting and spreading the word about this case?
Melissa's case is capturing the attention of people really through, in Texas, throughout the country, throughout the world. And this, public attention to her case, I think, is so important, because at the end of the day, decision makers involved are public officials, district attorneys are voted in, and other elected officials who ultimately have the responsibility here and can weigh in and can act to stop the execution. The district attorney could withdraw the execution date, could move to withdraw the execution date. Of course, upon a recommendation from the Board of Pardons and Parole, the governor can also, issue clemency. And, we can't forget that we have new evidence of innocence in this case that no fact finder has ever heard. No court has ever considered the new evidence supporting Melissa's innocence. And she didn't have a fair trial. And so that's something, really important. How can this woman be put to death without any court having considered the evidence of her innocence?
And of course, let's humanize her and tell people a little bit about her. She is now a mother of 14 children. She's 53 years old, behind bars, and haven't seen those kids in years, except those who have been able to visit her in prison.
It's excruciating. Melissa loved being a mother, and she just, to be separated from her children for the last decade and a half, for them to have grown up without her. She, has worked to maintain those relationships from behind bars. She's a woman of faith. She has just incredible strength to have endured, what she did in her lifetime and in this past decade and a half as she's been on death row.
Now, she was accused of harming one of her children. Refresh our viewers who may have forgotten about the details or that part of the case.
Melissa's daughter, Mariah, was 2 years old at the time, and they were in the process of moving homes. And Mariah fell down a staircase. The apartment was on the second floor, and she didn't seem to be immediately injured in any serious way. But 2 days later, while she was taking a nap, she stopped breathing, and she had, started to become sleepy and not really, want to eat. And, as we now know, she was suffering from complications from that fall. But, police rushed to judgment, and they immediately assumed that a murder had occurred based on Mariah's injuries. And it took Melissa in within 2 hours of her daughter dying. She was subjected to a coercive late night interrogation that went 5 hours, where she was really, manipulated and pressured into making a, general admission that they then used against her.
And all of this was done while she was pregnant with twins as well.
She was pregnant with twins, and in the, shock of her youngest daughter having just died. And during that interrogation, police are showing her pictures of her dead child saying, "You must have done this. And if you don't tell us what we want to hear, you're not going to her funeral." And, she's never coming back, and just really berating her and using highly coercive and manipulative techniques. And then, of course, at her trial, there was false medical evidence. The medical examiner testified that Mariah's injuries only could have come from some type of intentional abuse. And that is just false. We know that the autopsy shows indications of a blood coagulation disorder that causes bruising, that causes the injuries that the state's experts said only could have come from abuse. And in fact, it's completely consistent with an accidental fall.
Horrible situation. Well, like I said, the clock is ticking, and we will keep in touch with you, and we hope for the best. Obviously, we're hoping that the governor gets involved and stop this. She would be the first Hispanic female to be executed, right?
That's right.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored, and keep us updated.